We now want to welcome both Evan Fruits and Chuck Keppen to the stage as we welcome our next honoree, Enjoy Zielinski.
About Joey, I'm just going to go through some stats real quick. His first year, very first year, he was our MVP. He also was Rookie of the Year. That was in cross country. In indoor, he set a school record a mile at 4:17. Outdoors, he was all Summit League in the 1,500 meters and set a school record of 5K, which is a little bit over 3 miles, in 14:38. As a sophomore, he was first team all conference in the Summit League. Again, was our team MVP and co-captain. You can see he had some leadership qualities because I'm gonna mention that co-captain several times now. Indoor track, during that time, Fruits told me not to say this, but it was on my notes, so he was hurt during that time. Anyway, his junior year, again, co-captain, now back from injury. He finished second team all-league in the conference meet, and he led us to our first conference championship, and then he was indoor track. He was the individual champion in the 5,000 meters and the 3,000 meters. That's pretty good. And he was named the track athlete of the year at that point. So, and he set a school record in the mile of 4:14. Anytime I mention that mile, most of you probably know a good mile time is like 4 minutes. I mean, we all know that from Roger Bannister, you know, all down through the years. But so he's not much over that. Outdoor, he had his 10K debut at Mount Sac out in California of 30:23, the second fastest in IUPUI history. His senior year, again, co-captain, second team all-league, helping IUPUI to their back-to-back Summit League title. That was pretty good because back then we weren't winning titles that often, and we just went back-to-back. So that was a big thrill for us, and we got rings and all that said back-to-back, and then later on we actually got some that said 3P. But anyway, so he helped lead us to that, and then, and maybe most important to me, he finished 4th place overall in the Indiana Intercollegiate meet. That includes all the colleges and universities in the state of Indiana, small and large. He finished 4th and led our team to the championship, which when I ran for Ball State back in dark ages, we won that. It meant a lot to me my whole life. And I told these guys as we got ready for that meet that this would be big and that we could win it. And we won that thing. It's something I'll never forget. And I think that's something that the guys that ran on that team will never forget. Just, you know, the fact that you're beating IU and Purdue and those guys. And I know a lot of you probably went to those schools. Nothing against that. It was awful nice to be able to beat you. Indoors repeated again as the 5K indoor champion. Outdoors, he had a personal best of 3:52, which is about the equivalent of a 4:10 mile. So, you know, that's not too bad. He was selected as IUPUI's Mel Garland Distinguished Student Athlete Award, which that's about as big as award you're going to get at IUPUI. He is still ranked in the top 10 in the following. And I got to qualify this a little bit because nowadays they have these new shoes, these new spikes. And most of you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But if you remember the Blade Runner in the Olympics, the guy with the carbon fiber bounced along. Well, Nike, of course, came out with a shoe that did the same thing, that bounced you along. So for about the last 4 years now, they've had this shoe out there, and everybody's wearing them. I remember when they made those swimsuits for swimmers that helped them glide through the water. I think they outlawed those, I'm not sure. But now they've got shoes that spring you along. So that's worth at least a second a lap if you're like on a 400-meter track. So he still has, and the records have been falling, believe me. And it's not all the shoes, don't get me wrong, but shoes have a lot to do with it. Anyway, he's still ranked 4th in a mile with a time of 4:14. That was indoors. He's still 5th for the 10K cross-country time of 31:22. He's still ranked 6th in the 5,000 meters at 14:24. He's also ranked 6th in 1,500 meters at 3:52. He's 7th in the 3,000 meters at 8:21. And finally, he in the top 10 with a 9th place rating in the 10K with a time of 30:23. And anyway, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce him. Before I do, I'm gonna introduce Coach Fruits. He was my assistant for 8-10 years, something like that. And he's the best, as all you know that are smiling right there. He is.
Promise not to go long here.
Hey, can I go long?
No, a little bit, that's okay. That's why he had me up here, to make sure. As you heard from Coach Kepin, Joey's athletic accomplishments are simply amazing. However, Joey was so much more than his running accomplishments. First, he was an unbelievable student. He was a multi-time conference honor roll distinguished scholar and a commissioner list of excellence. He was voted All Summit League 3 times academically and academic all-district nominee. As Coach mentioned, he capped off his career by winning the Mel Garland Distinguished Student Athlete Award. Joey achieved these academic accolades by majoring in one of the hardest degree paths in the university by graduating with a degree in computer engineering. More impressive, though, than Joey as an athlete and a student is Joey the person. Joey's one of those guys that people just want to be around. His teammates could not get enough of Joey in their lives, and quite frankly, the coaches either. His sense of humor was unmatched. Joey could always lighten the mood with his quick wit, but he wouldn't be the one to bust a joke in front of everyone. No, he was the guy who would whisper in his teammates' ear while the coaches were making his speech, and then that guy would get in trouble for laughing out loud. Besides being a fun-loving and hilarious guy, Joey's always displayed incredible integrity. I know a lot of that comes from his faith. Faith is something that has always tied Joey and I together. For the last 11 years, every Easter Sunday, Joey texts me, "He is risen." And I follow up with, "He's risen indeed."
Yep.
Finally, you cannot talk about Joey without mentioning his family. You will not find a more supportive and loving family. From Grandma Z to Mama Z to Big Papa Keith Z. They were not only his biggest fans, but our whole team's biggest fans. And his now wife, Addison, who he started dating in college, was a Jaguar groupie at all of our competitions as well. Joey helped create that family atmosphere on the team. To this day, that group of guys still get together frequently. We usually get together once a year to stay up all night and play the game Risk. Word of advice with playing Risk with Joey, do not trust any of the deals he makes with you. Regardless of his shady Risk moves, though, I do give Joey a lot of credit for being the glue that holds this group of guys together. To close, I want to say thank you, Joey. You set the bar for future runners in the program. Without you, this program doesn't win 5 conference championships in the last decade. Without you, this program doesn't recruit multiple future JAG Hall of Famers. Thank you for always representing this program so well and making me a proud alumni and former coach. So it is Coach Kepin's and my honor privilege to induct you, Joey Zielinski, to the IUPUI Hall of Fame.
Chuck said, I don't know how he pulled off the recruits that he got my senior year of high school. Well, I remember the first meet that you came to. I think it was at Guerin. And I go, who's this guy? Or I kind of knew who you were. Chuck's a big deal, and especially in the high school running community. Won a lot of state titles back in the day. But came up to me and he goes, hey, I don't know if you know about IUPUI, but I'm trying to get a team going there. And if you come run for me, we'll give you a lot of money. Worked, I guess. I think I went for other reasons. So before I was a runner, I actually started out playing football when I was a kid. In 5th grade, I was probably about 90 pounds, 5 feet tall. And I played tight end. Needless to say, I didn't become the next Travis Kelce, which in hindsight's nice because Taylor Swift has nothing on my wife Addison. I can tell you guys more stuff if you go to TAP afterwards, but Addison won't let me say any of my other stories. So yeah, I guess I just want to thank, first and foremost, the IUPUI Athletic Department. Ed, Ed's just a cool guy that everyone loves to talk to. Makes you feel good. My coaches, Fruits, we're like best buds. We still talk all the time. Chuck, I really believed in what Chuck was trying to build at IUPUI, and that's really why I came. Wanted to also thank my friends, my teammates. A lot of my teammates are here right now. I still hang out with them all the time to this day. Wanted to thank my wife Addison. We started dating junior year of college, and she would come to all my meets. And there were times with studying computer engineering, being a student athlete, things were hard for me, especially not a lot of athletes were in the engineering school, and so I felt kind of alone at times with some of the things that I struggled through, and Addison was always there to encourage me and keep my head in the game.
Except I didn't go to South Dakota.
She didn't drive to South Dakota, and lastly, I wanted to thank my mom and dad, who wouldn't be there without them. I think anyone who was involved with cross-country track and field knows my mom was on the sidelines filming everything. My dad had his own notebook of team strategy. If you get third place and your seventh guy beats this guy from South Dakota, I think you guys can win this meet. And yeah, I just wouldn't be there without them. I love you guys. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for this honor.
Exactly.